Okay, so it's Paul Marsh here on Express, and I'm absolutely delighted to say that I've been joined by Catherine and Lizzie, aka War Thomas. Thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
So there is so much going on in your lives right now. I have to say, Lizzie, congratulations. You just got engaged just before Christmas,
Thank you. Thank you. It's very exciting.
and
Very exciting.
plans are underway. So you've got the album, you've got a tour, and you've got a wedding. You're not doing too much
Yeah.
for you.
No, no, just about enough.
Uh,
So yeah, it's a very exciting time.
Ironically, with the album being called Music in the Madness, because I think that's what's about to happen. You're about to go mad.
Yeah, yeah, probably. Right now I'm keeping my head because Catherine has been the best wedding planner helper. She's like, because she's done it all before, so it's perfect. But yeah, we've been very organized so far. It will have like an organized stint, and then it will all just you know go out,
Two
go
days
out.
before, two
Yeah,
days before, everything you planned will absolutely go out the window.
yeah, it will happen. Won't it? Like,
I
oh
mean,
no, I
the
didn't think
trick
about
the trick
this.
is with wedding planning, because obviously I'm no expert, but it was very successful for me, is to plan as much as you possibly can. And if it all goes out the window, then you have a I don't care stage. And it's normally
Yeah.
on the day or the day before, or the minute you put your dress on, phase two starts, and it's I don't care.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, happens. And even if everything you've planned down to a T doesn't go to plan, nothing is allowed to ruin your day. You just have to be happy and just enjoy
Yeah,
it.
I think the
very
one thing
true.
that we've all learned from Friends is just say the right name. And then after that, it doesn't
Yes,
matter.
Oh yeah, yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And luckily, I don't think there's any chance of that going wrong.
Don't say too
Fingers
soon.
crossed.
So, like I say, the album is out right now. The single was huge. We've been playing that on Express non-stop. It was our track of the week, and then playlisted for what feels like probably the last couple of months. You're down in Portsmouth at the New Theatre Royal on the 20th of February. What can we expect from that show?
Well, we have done this is a very different tour from what we've done before. It's very intimate. It's just Catherine and I and our guitar player Billy Adamson on stage, telling all the stories behind all the songs. I'll be on the piano, Catherine on guitar, and we've got Billy on the guitar as well. And it's very stripped back, and it's been both a really lovely challenge for our musicianship as well as quite daunting because we're very naked on stage and everyone can see every mess up if we mess up, but it feels it like from what we did in November, we feel a lot closer to the audience, and it's really lovely because we're just sat on stage and we're having lots of great conversations with each other on stage and the audience. So it's a very lovely intimate evening with Ward Thomas.
It's funny. It feels that country is kind of going back that way because obviously it starts with literally, in the round with songwriters sitting there like with a guitar or a piano or whatever it is you write with, and you write your songs, and then they become this big, huge thing, don't they? With the extra production and the bands and everything else like that. And I went to watch the Shires did a stripped back tour. I think it was maybe a couple of years ago or something like that. And it seems that country music seems to be going back to where it kind of originated from. I'm seeing a lot of venues doing in the round evenings now.
Yeah, I think to be honest, from being doing this, I mean, I don't know, every time we went on tour in the UK specifically and hearing about American artists coming over here and touring in the UK, the most common sort of takeaway that everyone was always saying is, wow, the British audience really listens.
Mm.
They are quiet, they're sat there, they're wanting to hear every word. And I think that what differs from the American audiences is that, like, the country music being such a big genre over there, a lot of people go out for a night out and
Right.
do sort of a boozy night out, drinking and listening to and dancing to country music, and it's rowdy. Whereas if you're a country music fan here in the UK, you tend to like have sought out the artists you like, and you tend to be a real music fan. You're not just there for a night out, you're there to soak it in because you've listened to the albums, you've like memorized the lyrics. And so it really suits that intimate setting. And we've always found whenever we've taken a full band on the tour, and although we love that, and we would love to do that again in the future, the most intimate favorite moment of our set was always when it was just the two of us, and we were able to tell the stories, because there's so many stories that go behind a country song. It's not like a pop song where you can kind of just write something hooky and make it sound fun. I mean, Taylor Swift being the exception to this, because all of her lyrics are very well thought out, but the stories are what people want to hear. And so doing this kind of tour it sort of feels really perfect for us right now, because we get to take all of the bells and whistles away and just be completely raw and intimate, and play the songs how they were written, play the songs how they sounded in our heads before we went into a studio and made them all produced.
Do you think that we take audiences for granted here in the UK? Because I saw Ashley McBride last week in Southampton, and she was saying about how amazing the audiences are here in the UK. And again, how we listen and how we sing the songs back. And literally at one point, the crowd was singing the song back to her and she burst into tears. So do you think that we do kind of take that for granted a little bit?
I think we do, because I think when you go and you perform in America, in Nashville and something, it is a lot more intimidating, because obviously when you go to a city like Nashville, that everyone in that city is doing the same thing as you, and you're, and so the audience are a lot more used to live music and country music and stuff like that. Whereas over here, like exactly what Catherine just said, the UK audience are really there to go and enjoy the music, and to us that's normal. And I remember when we supported Miranda Lambert over here in the UK, and she was quite like taken aback by it. She was like, oh my God, like she didn't know what to make of it first. And then she realized that actually all listening rather than being intimidating.
Yeah.
But I think we do, because it's quite normal for us, because we've got used to it. Definitely, we probably would take it for granted until we go and sing in Nashville where everyone's chatting. And we're like, oh my God, over in the UK, people are way more respectful and listening to the actual live music. And we're like, why are they talking? Why are they here? Why do they buy tickets? They're talking through our show.
Yeah, that's exactly what we think, isn't it? What is £20, £30, whatever it is for a ticket these days. You think, how have you got that money to spend and then not even pay attention to what's going on stage? You're going to sit at the bar and have a drink or whatever. Crazy.
Pub and have a good old catch up. Like, no one's saying that you shouldn't be talking. They're just saying don't ruin it for other people that have also come here and paid £30 to listen, because I think that that's also very difficult.
Yeah.
It's like buying a cinema ticket to a really big blockbuster film or something like that and talking throughout the whole film.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what?
Why would you
don't
do
that.
Yeah, like you say, there's nothing wrong with that. Go down the pub or go and have a coffee or whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Go down there and do it, but we want to pay attention.
Yeah.
So, like you say, the new Theatre Royal on the 20th of February is going to be the perfect opportunity to sit and listen, laugh at the stories, no doubt, find out where all the music, where it was born and where it all came from. And I have to just say very quickly, you've got fantastic support from Els Bailey as well, because she's amazing. She's so good.
She's so good.
We love her.
We saw her the first time. Well, we've seen her lots and lots, but for the first time, we saw her in this really, really stripped back, intimate, like live stream gig. And her voice just completely blew us away, and we're so excited to have her on the road with us.
Yeah
Absolutely amazing. Now, would you consider Portsmouth to be kind of a hometown gig? It's kind of
very much so for me, especially. Like, I'm really close. My fiance's farm is literally right by Waterlooville, so it's really, really close. And 25 minutes from me where I live now, so
perfect.
Probably be the local show on the whole tour, actually.
Yeah.
Portsmouth is our most local city, I would say.
And let's face it, it's always nice to go home to your own bed afterwards, isn't it?
Oh my God, yes. Sure.
Especially when you're a child.
I think the last one you did in Portsmouth, if I'm all right in saying, was 2017 at the Pyramids.
Yes,
wow, that was yes, it was.
So,
God, why has it been? It's been a long time since we've done Portsmouth, and that's mental.
Now, something that has literally only just been announced, and I'm very, very happy about this. It's just been announced that Kezia Gill is going to be the guest on your new single. It's called Quarter Life Crisis, which I find very, very interesting. And it's going to be out on February the 9th. Now, it is too early for us to be able to play it, unfortunately. We will play it as soon as we can. So just tell us about the song. Tell us what we can expect.
So the comical part of it is once you hear the song and listen, it is not at all in the stage of life that we're at right now. We wrote it way back when we were 24 and we thought we were in a quarter life crisis. And we now know, as we are turning 30 this year, that there is nothing more annoying than a 24-year-old complaining about how they need to get themselves together and feeling like they're ready to take on all of these responsibilities and the expectations they had at where their life should be at 24. However, it's quite a fun song to sing for us now with the hindsight of wisdom.
Yeah.
And being able to sort of laugh at our 24-year-old selves for thinking that we needed to have more of our lives together by the time we were 24. So
we were talking about it with Kezia,
yeah, and she was sort of saying it is funny because she was saying I'm not really there at all, and do I feel like almost a fraud singing about how I should be 24? And honestly, I think that there's almost something really fun about singing something that you now don't almost fully agree with in hindsight, and you're singing as your 24-year-old selves, and it's a fun song to belt out, basically.
It's fun to look back on where your head was at when you were 24 and where you are now.
I daren't is the honest answer with that one. I daren't look back because I started very, very briefly. I tell you, I started on radio when I was around about 24, 25. And then I was on here on Express until about 32 when my first child was born. And then my wife said, "Oi, home. Need you to start changing nappies and doing bits and pieces." So I had around about 8 to 9 years off the radio before coming back in this incarnation around about 18 months ago. So yeah, like you say, I remember back then kind of thinking to myself that, oh, this is happening and this is so unfair and what's this? And then, another 15 years down the line, I am where I am now. And then thinking about, well, what's it going to be like in another 15 years time?
Yeah. And I think that these sort of generational songs and how we've always been very inspired by where we are in our lives at that time. And we've written so many, like all of our albums follow that theme as we sort of went through our 20s and now we're entering a new decade. And it's sort of quite nice to look back on and sing back on with that hindsight. So
yes.
Anyone that is 24 might be able to relate to it. Anyone that is 34, 54, 84 might be able to laugh with us about it.
I think so. Right. I'm very, very much looking forward to hearing the song. I'm looking forward to seeing the video because I've no doubt it's going to be an interesting video as well. So looking forward to playing that here on Express. I just want to finish up very quickly, if it's okay, talking about Country to Country, because obviously it's the biggest country music festival in the UK. It's something that has been close to your hearts for quite some time. What's it like actually being there?
It's really incredible being there because that's the one time a year that you realize how much country music has grown in the UK, and not just grown as like a country as a genre. It used to be more of like a theme and a bit more of a gimmick, whereas now it's a genre that people are loving. And I think there's a lot to thank that for, because I think that like the streaming and radio have really supported country music, and there's Americana artists like Chris Stapleton and Brandy Carlisle coming out of America. They've been there for a long time, but they're a lot more global now. And that kind of genre, and then the TV program Yellowstone played all sorts of country music like Zach Bryan, and it's all becoming really like a proper thing globally, and people are understanding the genre more. They're not just calling it country and western, which was the old version of country. They're calling it country and like just rootsy storytelling songs, harmony based songs that people have loved for a very long time, but now they're coming out of the you know, that they're like coming out of the woodworks and admitting that they love country music.
Do you think it's
And it,
important? Sorry to interrupt. Do you think it's important to see these artists crossing genres as well? Obviously, Taylor is probably top of that list, but then you got artists like Maron and even Luke Combs to a certain degree doing things with Ed Sheeran and bits and pieces like that.
I think
Definitely. I think with country music of all genres is the kind of music that you can do country slash something else. I mean, you don't really hear it in many other genres, but people can go country pop or country rock or country alt.
Well, there's bro country as well.
Yeah, bro country.
In Nashville, there are so many different forms of country. There's old country, bro country, pop country. Like Kelsey Ballerini is very pop country, and she's getting very famous more globally now than you know, people like that. It's definitely helping. Like, and also with Casey Musgraves and Maren Morris, both of them, like Casey Musgraves supported Harry Styles on a big tour a couple of years ago, and Maren Morris supported Niall as well, didn't she?
Yeah, and the thing is their music is just as at home on those stages as it is at C2C, and that's what's so wonderful about country music, is that there's, unless you're an absolute purist, there's normally a country music genre for everyone. And it's just really exciting to see how many versions of country can come out of America and now out of the UK and Australia and all around.
Do you get to go to country if you're not performing? Do you ever get to go as a fan?
We've gone a few times when we weren't performing. Like on a day, we have been performing most years, but like on a day, on that we weren't performing, we went to go and enjoy. I remember it was the Chicks were playing. They were headlining, and it was like Zach Brown Band and the Chicks, and it was a great lineup. So we went to go and enjoy the whole show. But also, you don't even need tickets for the arena because there's so much going on outside of the arena.
This is what I was going to talk about, actually, and this is the other thing. One of the reasons that I think not only myself, but also I think a lot of the country music fans, why they like the day part of the festival so much is you can wander around and see some you may know, some you may not know, but you can wander around and see all of these fantastic artists. But what I love is seeing the other artists wander around and watching other artists as well. You know, again, mentioning the Shires, quite often see Ben and Chrissy just wandering around watching people. Kezia, I've seen Kezia, you know, and various other people all just having a little wander around and seeing what else is coming out, because I think the country music family is so supportive of each other.
Yeah, and they're all music fans. And everyone likes to collaborate and write, and it's very much a community.
Yeah, and people are like, shall we work together? Yeah, I'd love to work together. Like, we went when we were playing, we were introducing people on the main stage, and there was a security guard who works at the O2 Arena a lot, and he obviously sees a lot of the different genres of like pop, and like he just did an Ariana Grande show the week before, and he was like, God, everyone's so polite here. All the artists are so polite, and like he's like, he's not used to that, and I was like, that is country music. That is just what it's all about.
Yeah, no big divas here, thank you very much.
We don't. No big divas.
Catherine, Lizzie, it's been so great to talk to you. Thank you so much. So just a reminder, we've got Music in the Madness. The album is out now. Go and listen. If you haven't already bought your tickets to the new Theatre Royal on the 20th of February, because you literally should have been on the computer whilst listening to this interview, you should have been on the computer buying tickets now, because they are out if you haven't got them already. And just finally, the single with Kezia Gill joining you, Quarter Life Crisis, coming out on the February the 9th. So you've got so much coming up, including weddings and everything else that you're doing as well. So I appreciate the time that you've taken to talk to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.